Last month, a rider blew up her 2019 Yamaha R6. Total engine failure. The repair bill, $8,400. The crazy part? It wasn't from racing, abuse, or even bad maintenance. She just used the wrong coolant. Not old coolant, not dirty coolant, just the wrong type. And here's what's terrifying. She didn't do anything stupid. She followed advice from 3 forums and 2 bike shops, and every single one told her the same thing. Coolant is coolant. They were dead wrong. What most riders don't realize is that the wrong coolant can quietly destroy your engine from the inside out. And by the time you notice something's wrong, it's already too late. So today, I'm going to show you how to pick the right coolant for your bike, how to avoid mixing disasters, and how to make sure your engine never ends up like that $8,000 R6. Because coolant chemistry isn't boring. It's the difference between a healthy engine and a pile of scrap metal. Let's get into it. The chemistry that kills your engine. Here's what most riders don't understand. Coolant isn't just colored water with antifreeze. Modern coolants are complex chemical formulations designed to work with specific metals in your engine. When you get this wrong, you're not just risking overheating. You're starting a chemical process that eats your engine alive. Your motorcycle engine contains aluminum, steel, cast iron, and sometimes magnesium components. Each metal reacts differently to coolant chemistry. The wrong coolant creates galvanic corrosion, essentially turning your cooling system into a battery, where different metals become electrodes. Current flows between them, and the weaker metals start dissolving. Aluminum is particularly vulnerable. Most modern bike engines use aluminum for the cylinder head, block, and radiator. When exposed to the wrong coolant chemistry, aluminum forms oxide deposits that clog passages and create hotspots. These hotspots cause localized overheating that warps cylinder heads and destroys gaskets. I've seen cylinder heads so warped they look like potato chips. But here's where it gets really nasty: mixing coolants. When you top off your system with a different coolant type, you create an acidic solution that's more corrosive than either coolant alone. The different additive packages react with each other, forming compounds that attack seals, gaskets, and metal surfaces simultaneously. Let me break down the 3 main coolant types and why they matter. IAT coolants use silicates and phosphates as corrosion inhibitors. They work great with cast iron, but can actually accelerate aluminum corrosion in high-temperature applications. OAT coolants use organic acid technology. They're designed specifically for aluminum engines and last much longer. HOAT coolants combine both technologies for mixed metal systems. Here's the problem. These systems don't play well together. Mix an IAT coolant with an OAT coolant, and the silicates in the IAT will react with the organic acids in the OAT. This creates a gel-like substance that blocks cooling passages and forms deposits on heat transfer surfaces. Your engine can't shed heat properly, leading to overheating and catastrophic failure. I've seen engines where mixing coolants created so much buildup that the radiator was completely blocked. The owner thought his radiator was defective because his bike kept overheating. When we flushed the system, chunks of crystallized coolant came out that looked like concrete. Temperature regulation failure is another killer. Your engine is designed to operate within a specific temperature range. When coolant chemistry breaks down, it loses its ability to transfer heat efficiently. Hot spots develop in the cylinder head, causing pre-ignition and detonation. This creates a feedback loop. More heat causes more coolant breakdown, which causes more hot spots. The aluminum corrosion disaster happens gradually, then suddenly. Aluminum oxide buildup reduces coolant flow, creating areas where coolant stagnates and gets even hotter. These superheated areas cause rapid degradation of remaining coolant additives. Eventually, you get complete cooling system failure, usually at the worst possible time. Real-world example. A friend's Ducati Panigale started running hot during track days. He kept topping off with whatever coolant the track had available. 3 different coolant types mixed in his system. By the end of the season, his radiator was so clogged that coolant barely circulated. The engine seized during a session, requiring a complete rebuild. The kicker? His bike was still under warranty, but mixing coolants voided the coverage. The $8,000 lesson most riders learn too late is that coolant chemistry matters more than coolant color. You can't just grab any bottle of antifreeze and assume it'll work. Your engine's metallurgy, operating temperature, and manufacturer specifications all determine which coolant formulation will protect your investment or destroy it. The right way to choose and change coolant. All right, now that you know which coolant your bike needs, let's talk about the actual selection and change process. This is where most riders screw up, even when they have the right information. Getting this wrong can contaminate your entire cooling system and cause the exact problems we're trying to avoid. Step 1 in the selection process. Verify your bike's current coolant type before you buy anything. Don't assume the previous owner used the right stuff. I've seen too many bikes where someone topped off with whatever was cheap at the auto parts store. If you're not sure what's currently in your system, you need to do a complete flush regardless of what the new coolant requires. Here's how to properly identify what's in your system right now. Check the overflow reservoir when the engine's cold. If the coolant looks milky, brown, or has floating particles, it's contaminated and needs immediate attention. If it's clear but you don't know the type, assume it's wrong and plan for a complete flush. When you're ready to buy coolant, bring your owner's manual or write down the exact specifications. Don't rely on parts store employees to know what your bike needs. I've heard auto parts guys recommend car coolant for motorcycles because it's all the same stuff. It's not. Motorcycle cooling systems operate at higher temperatures and have different metallurgy than cars. Buy more coolant than you think you need. Your cooling system holds a specific amount, but you'll lose some during the flushing process. Having extra means you can do a proper flush without running out of fresh coolant halfway through. Now let's talk about the proper flushing technique. This is critical because any contamination left in the system will compromise your new coolant immediately. Start with a completely cold engine. Never work on a hot cooling system. Remove the radiator cap and drain plug, then let everything drain completely. Here's where most people mess up. They think draining the old coolant is enough. It's not. You need to flush the entire system with distilled water to remove residual coolant and any buildup. Fill the system with distilled water, run the engine until it reaches operating temperature, then drain it completely. Repeat this process until the water comes out completely clear. Some riders ask about using tap water for flushing. Don't. Tap water contains minerals that can react with your new coolant and form deposits. Distilled water costs a few extra dollars, but it's worth it to avoid contamination. When you're ready to fill with new coolant, follow the manufacturer's mixing instructions exactly. Most coolants come concentrated and need to be mixed with distilled water. The typical ratio is 50-50, but some applications require different ratios. More coolant doesn't mean better protection. It can actually reduce heat transfer efficiency. Fill the system slowly to avoid air pockets. Air trapped in the cooling system creates hot spots and prevents proper circulation. Most bikes have a specific bleeding procedure in the service manual. Follow it exactly, because trapped air is one of the biggest causes of overheating after coolant changes. Here are the warning signs that tell you when coolant needs changing, even if you haven't hit the mileage interval. If your coolant looks rusty, milky, or has particles floating in it, change it immediately. If you notice sweet smells from the engine bay or white smoke from the exhaust, you might have coolant leaking into the combustion chamber. Temperature gauge behavior is another indicator. If your bike starts running hotter than normal, or if the temperature fluctuates more than usual, your coolant might be breaking down. Don't wait for obvious overheating. By then, damage might already be occurring. Storage and mixing best practices are simple but important. Store coolant in a cool, dry place away from children and pets. Coolant is toxic and sweet-tasting, making it dangerous around kids and animals. Never mix different coolant types, even for emergencies. If you're low on coolant and don't have the right type, add distilled water temporarily and fix it properly as soon as possible. The biggest mistake that voids warranties is using non-approved coolants or mixing types. Manufacturers can test your coolant and determine if you've deviated from specifications. If they find the wrong coolant caused your engine failure, you're paying for repairs yourself. Here's your key takeaway. The right coolant is cheap insurance for your engine investment. Spending an extra $20 on manufacturer-approved coolant beats spending thousands on engine rebuilds. Your bike's cooling system is engineered for specific chemistry. Respect that engineering. Subscribe for more maintenance tips that'll save you money and keep your bike running strong. I'll put a coolant compatibility chart in the description so you can reference the exact specifications for your bike. Check it out and ride safe. Decoding coolant types for your bike. Now that you understand how wrong coolant destroys engines, let's decode what you actually need. The coolant world is full of marketing BS and dangerous myths that'll cost you thousands. I'm going to cut through the confusion and show you exactly how to identify the right coolant for your specific bike. First, let's destroy the biggest lie in motorcycling. Universal coolant. There's no such thing. Companies market universal coolants because it sounds convenient, but chemistry doesn't care about marketing. These products are compromises that might not damage your engine immediately, but they won't provide optimal protection either. Your bike's manufacturer spent millions engineering the cooling system. They didn't specify coolant type by accident. Here's how to actually decode coolant types. IAT stands for inorganic additive technology. These coolants use silicates, phosphates, and borates to prevent corrosion. They're typically green and designed for older engines with more cast iron components. IAT coolants work by forming a protective layer on metal surfaces, but this layer can actually insulate aluminum and reduce heat transfer efficiency. OAT coolants use organic acid technology. These are usually orange, red, or yellow and contain carboxylate salts that work differently than IAT additives. Instead of coating metal surfaces, OAT additives only activate where corrosion starts. This means better heat transfer and longer life, typically 5 years versus 2 for IAT coolants. Most modern motorcycle engines are designed for OAT coolants. HOAT coolants combine hybrid organic acid technology. They use organic acids plus some traditional additives like silicates. These are often yellow or orange and designed for mixed metal systems, where you have aluminum, steel, and cast iron components working together. Now here's where riders get confused. Color means absolutely nothing. I've seen green OAT coolants, orange IAT coolants, and red HOAT coolants. Manufacturers can dye coolant any color they want. The only way to know what you're dealing with is reading the actual specifications on the bottle. Look for these key specifications that actually matter. First, check the additive technology. It should clearly state IAT, OAT, or HOAT. Second, look for ASTM standards compliance. Your owner's manual will specify which ASTM standard your bike requires. Third, check for manufacturer approvals. If your bike needs Honda Type 2 coolant, make sure the bottle specifically says it meets Honda Type 2 specifications. Manufacturer-specific requirements exist because different companies use different metallurgy in their engines. Honda's aluminum alloys aren't identical to Yamaha's. Ducati's cooling system design creates different flow patterns than Kawasaki's. These differences require different coolant formulations for optimal protection. European bikes often specify different coolants than Japanese bikes. BMW, KTM, and Ducati frequently require specific HOAT formulations that meet European standards. Using American or Japanese coolant specifications on these bikes can cause warranty issues and suboptimal protection. Here's how to find the right coolant for your specific bike. Start with your owner's manual. It should specify the exact coolant type and any relevant standards. Don't just look for antifreeze. Look for specific technology types and ASTM numbers. If your manual just says, use motorcycle coolant, that's not helpful enough. Check the manufacturer's website for technical bulletins. Many companies publish detailed coolant specifications that go beyond what's in the owner's manual. These documents often explain why specific coolants are required and what happens if you use the wrong type. Call your dealer's service department, but be specific. Don't ask what coolant should I use. Ask what specific coolant part number does the manufacturer recommend for my bike's model year. Get the actual part number, then cross-reference it to aftermarket equivalents that meet the same specifications. Here's a pro tip most riders don't know. Stick with one brand once you choose. Even if two coolants meet the same specifications, their additive packages might not be perfectly compatible. Prestone OAT and Xerox OAT might both be OAT coolants, but mixing them can still cause problems. The bottom line, your bike's cooling system is engineered for specific coolant chemistry. Deviating from manufacturer specifications isn't saving money, It's gambling with your engine's life. Spend the extra few dollars on the right coolant because the alternative is spending thousands on engine repairs.